And so I'm going to talk a bit about Christian influencers as well and what that means. So an influencer in today's day and age is someone who has influence, but more predominantly they have influence online. So you may hear the younger generation say, oh, that person is an influencer. So it's just someone that has influence in that they have a following, they have a certain number of people that follow them, that listen to what they say. So one of the great things about this generation is there is a plethora of, and there's kind of been a big surge of Christian influencers coming out. So people who follow the Lord, but who are of influence and are using their platform to bring people to Christ. Some of those people include my friend Susan Debra's, if you could go to the next slide please. My friend Susan Debra's, who runs a page called Coffee and Prayer, and this is another organisation. So why do I say that she's an influencer? Susan puts on events, retreats, different kinds of ways to bring us closer to the Father. And what she does is she shares a lot of the imagery, the videos, the events through their Coffee and Prayer Instagram page. So you can see in the bottom right, there's an image from a prayer conference that they've had. They have worship clips as well, and then quotes as well. One of the things that I also love is that she does do Bible challenges as well, so Bible reading challenges. So I mentioned earlier that on Instagram there's something called IGTV where you can stream live, so you can make a video in the moment. So one of the ways that she utilizes that for her audience is she will make a video and everyone is watching it, and she'll literally be dissecting. It's basically doing an online Bible study with people. So she will have Bible, there'll be a topic. Today we're going to talk about comparison. Today we're going to talk about holiness. Today we're going to talk about faithfulness. And through this live stream, people are able to hear the word of God. It's not necessarily always tangible or convenient to get to a church at 9 p.m. at night, for example. But as a young person, you may want to hear something godly in that moment. You may want to be encouraged. You may want to be motivated. You may want to just simply learn. One of the benefits of social media is that it almost exists outside of time, in that because it is so accessible, it can be accessed at any point. So if I leave this event today, for example, and one of the ways that social media can be utilized is I leave this event, I think I really feel like I learned a lot today. I want to be able to share that with someone. Is that the event, for example, could be covered on social media. So if this whole thing has been filmed, you can then put that on social media, you can put that on Facebook, and there's a short video, and there's a way to say, hey, this is what I learned today at the women's conference. So there are so many ways that we can utilize it for our good. Another way that I really love, which will be the next slide, is there are a lot of, the next one again. There are a lot of apps, so apps that are social networking in a sense, but are really based on the word. So many of us will probably have heard of the Bible app, which also is called YouVersion. So I know that typically, it's probably been in the last few years really that we engage with the Bible through our mobile phones. Why this is important and helpful for young people is because we have to consider what are they using in the normal day-to-day. How many young people in today's day are maybe carrying their Bible to school? I know, I'm not going to say that I was a goody two-shoes, but I know that there was a phase in my life where I carried a physical Bible to college because I loved my physical Bible, and that was what I was reading. And I would read it on the bus on my way to college, and I'd read it on my way back. But one thing I recognized is that, so for example, when I decided to get a study Bible, we know that a study Bible can be a little bit more weight, okay? It can be a bit more heavy. It's not always the most accessible thing to be carrying around when you're going to school. Also, when you're amongst other children that may not, children or young people that may not understand your faith, they may not understand what it is that you're doing. So that's where in steps the Bible app. So I am on the Bible app, for example, and I do use this. And one of the great things about this is that it has plans within there. So it has daily devotionals. How many people like a devotional? Devotionals? You like to? Yeah, okay. I like a good devotional, especially when you can be really specific in terms of what it is that you need in that moment or in that season. Through this app, which I said is called YouVersion, or you might be able to find it if you search for Bible app. But through this app, you can go to the search engine, and in the plans, you can literally type loneliness, you can type marriage, you can type friendship, all these different themes that may matter to young people that we're maybe not always so quick to speak about, and maybe we don't always hear spoken about in church. But these devotionals have been created for a younger audience, have been created for so many different ages. And so that's something that they can also access. Also, through these platforms, one of the great aspects is that you can actually do things with people. So I mentioned in the beginning that I believe that the original plan for social media was to make us better connected, but that doesn't always happen. Now what I love is through this Bible app is you can actually compare notes with your friends. So just the other day, I started a plan, or my friend started a plan, and she invited me and some other friends to do it together. So I get notifications that say that they've read the devotion for today, and they can leave comments, so what they took away from the reading for each day. I can leave comments, we can learn from one another. And this is just one of the great ways that I think can be overlooked that young people can engage with different social networks. And we'll move on to the next one. And this point of how can we better utilize our social media for good is, the next one, is that our churches can use it. Our churches are using it, actually. Many churches are using it. If you go to the next one, yes please, I will be able to show you guys a few different examples of this. So this is actually my church's Instagram page, and I actually run it. So I hope you like it. If you don't, that was really sad because I put a lot of effort into it. But we are on Instagram, and I know that a lot of churches nowadays are engaging with social media more and more, and this is really, really good to see because we need to get to where the people are. It's great to kind of do evangelism in the traditional sense, which I'm very big on us doing, but there are people that we can't necessarily reach physically, that we can't get to. One of the great things about social media is it maximizes our reach. So through social media, because it is worldwide, we've had people engage with our content that are in America, that are in Africa, that are all over the globe. So if we want to maximize our reach, if we want to better create a wider impact in terms of sharing the gospel and sharing what we do here in church, social media is one of those areas that in this generation shouldn't be slept on, so shouldn't be disregarded as being important. Now, whether the platform that you choose to be on is Facebook, I know that a lot of churches have Facebook accounts, or it's Instagram, then either platform is great to be on. Twitter as well, but mainly I would say that those two are really good platforms to be on in terms of sharing what you're doing in church. So what kind of content do we share on our Instagram page? You can see in the top right, there's an image there, and what it says is that we are doing a Bible study, and it says the time and the location. So things as simple as the everyday events that we do within church. Whilst we do our announcements on a Sunday, that's great, there will be some people that weren't there that Sunday. And so what we can do through social media is we tend to send it out on a Tuesday to remind our followers, can't wait to meet with you again this Wednesday as we dig into the Word of God, for example. We can use photos that we take within church. I know loads of churches have photographers or just people that are good with cameras from time to time. That's another item of content that we can use. We also tend to capture the message from each Sunday and share that on social media. So of course Sunday is kind of arguably the most popular day within church amongst those that are within church. And so we feel that it's really important to help that sermon, help that word get out even further. So whilst we host the actual recordings of each sermon on the website, we also will do a very, very short version of that sermon on Instagram, for example. So in the bottom left, that is a picture of my pastor, for example, who was preaching, and on top of it is a quote that was taken from his sermon, for example. So it says, "The Holy Spirit is our true comforter," because he was preaching on the Holy Spirit, for example. And then underneath that, although you can't see it here, underneath that we've written a few paragraphs that basically just summarize what that message was about. And then at the end of that, we encourage our followers to go to the website and download the message for themselves. So this is a massive, massive way that churches are utilising social media. And I think this is one of the most powerful ways that we can be of influence in this generation. Another page here, this is a worldwide popular church, a global church called Hillsong. And Hillsong are also very, very good at engaging with social media and sharing what they're doing within the church and the community on social media. I think one of the things that we sometimes overlook is I think a lot of churches are doing amazing things within the community, outreach, evangelism, different kind of elements. When we can show that online, we're able to show this is how the church is serving the world, this is how we are looking outside of these four walls, this is how we are making an impact in the world, and more people are likely to want to join us in making that same impact. And then the next one as well, and I'll go through these bits fast because I'm conscious of my time. Careers. Yes, as I said, I work in social media. So once upon a time, that wasn't a job, it wasn't a thing, it didn't really exist. It's come about quite recently, but it is a living, breathing industry, and there are careers to be found within that. So there are some young people amongst us who are very good at taking photos, for example, very good at photography, they're very good at writing, and they're maybe trying to find an avenue for that. They're trying to find, how do I match the things that come naturally to me? How can I find a career that suits that? How can I be passionate about my work? And I think a lot of young people in this day and age are finding that they are able to kind of express themselves creatively through a career in social media. So this is an avenue that can be considered as well. With that said, this page that I'm showing here also is a social media page that is used to help people get jobs. So this platform is called LinkedIn. Some of us may be familiar with it. I think my mom has a LinkedIn account. I'm not sure why, because she's not trying to leave her job, but she has an account. And what this does is it's basically like an online CV. So we all know, of course, what a curriculum vitae is. So you are able to upload your CV onto there. You're able to connect with different recruiters, connect with different senior members of different companies, and basically build an online network to help you to land your next job. I actually have used this many a times. I think no, it's not my account. My account might be on the next slide, which is there. I've used this many a times to advertise myself. This is another social network, again, which can be overlooked, but LinkedIn is considered to be a social network because we're able to connect with other people through it. And then finally, what is the future? What is the future of social media? So how can we ensure our children are educated about the dangers of social media? How can we basically make sure that with everything that we've learned, sorry, you can move on a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to skip past these next ones.